What's up, my YouTube family? It's your boy Lucky checking in, and welcome to episode 9 of Coffee with Lucky. Now, I'm excited. We have my boy Armon on the line in LA right now, I believe.
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, and we're going to be talking about building relationships. Sorry. So before we go there, I'll let Armon introduce himself and tell us the work that he's doing in the world.
Well, first of all, man, thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
And I think what you're doing in the world and for so many people is incredible, starting with your YouTube channel, your Instagram, Coffee with Lucky. Everything you're doing is so amazing. So I just want to thank you on behalf of myself and everyone else who's watching this. My name is Armon Anderson, and I'm a self-love transformation coach. I grew up as an entrepreneur, and through my journey, up and down journey as an entrepreneur, I really found that everything starts and ends with self-love. And if you really focus and you're conscious and you're aware of self-love and also building relationships, you know, what can happen in your life, your surroundings, and finding your true purpose, your passion, and your bliss in life. So I'm ready to get rolling.
Awesome. So we talked a bit before we started recording about building relationships. And one aspect that came out the most was starting a relationships. We talked a little bit more about like business, branding wise, like getting mentors and everything. So what would be like your 3 most important points in starting a relationship with, for example, a mentor? Because I know a lot of us nowadays are looking for a mentor to help us, guide us to the next level. So what would be like your 3 important points to approach a mentor with to start that relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. I think mentorship is so key. I happened to find my first mentor. I sought him out when I was 18. His name's Vince Pacente. He's from Canada. He wrote a book called The Ant and the Elephant, which talks about how if your conscious and subconscious are in alignment, going in the same direction, you're going to find the oasis. Really awesome book. If you've never heard of it, read it, I recommend it. Changed my whole thought pattern in my life. But he taught me something, and this is one of the 3 points I'll say, is when I was 18, he said, Armon, don't do what your competition is doing. Do what they're not willing to do. And at that time, it was for a different industry, but I took it as like a whole life message of, you know, a lot of people in life, they want to ask or take before they give. So if you're trying to find a mentor or trying to build relationships, it's so important to think of what can you do for them versus what can they do for you. And when I was 20, I went on a year mission, 12 months to just give and see how I can just give to people, whether it was making sure every single day I said happy birthday to my friends, my family, whether it was sending them a $5, $10 Starbucks gift card, didn't have to be anything crazy, showing up, you know, where it mattered for people, being someone that would listen and just sit with someone. Yeah. And I noticed a trend where people would say, wow, you know, my own husband or my own wife or my own mother, father, sister, brother never listened to me like this. And so I found having a mentor, having a friend that will be there for you and see what they can do for you, it goes a long way. Point number 2, positioning. You know, if you sit at home, and I was guilty of this for so many years, Lucky, sitting at home and thinking that my friends were going to knock on my door, or maybe Tony Robbins would knock on my door and say, get up, let's go. And it wasn't going to happen, right? And so if you position yourself, you know, something that you're so good at is showing up where, you know, the people that you want to be influenced by, the people that you want to call your friends are there. And people ask, well, you know, what if I don't live in LA? What if I live in Vancouver, Malaysia, Thailand, Japan, China? Because people think everything happens only in one location, but in every country there's events. In every country there's, right, amazing people. And it's just finding out where those people are so you can position yourself. And again, going back to when you shake their hand, showing up with confidence and believing that you're meant to be there. You're meant to be in that inner circle. But what value will you bring to relationships? And we talked about this earlier before we started filming this, you know, value for value. I always focused on what can I do for them. And if you're someone that's at home right now who's looking for a mentor, looking to be guided by somebody, I would highly recommend, whether it's reading a few books, whatever your expertise, whatever you want it to be, and seeing what you can do for them, seeing how you can show up in their life and bring value. Because I promise you this, for everyone watching this, maybe thinking that someone who's maybe in a higher status in a certain industry than they are currently watching this, even those people need a mentor. Even those people need a great friend who will listen, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I realized. And I just focus on being a giver and being a listener. And going back to Vince Pacente, he said, don't just listen, Armon, listen to learn. And the first thing I thought of was how many people just take it one ear out the other. And whenever I'm with someone, whether they're at the highest level of the industry of personal development, direct sales, all the industries that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of, or whether it's someone who is just getting started, there's always notes that I will take, because in my opinion, you can learn from a poor man and you can learn from a very wealthy man. And so in combination, always focus on listening to learn.
Yeah. That's powerful, man. For everybody watching this, like he said, a lot of people listen and put it out the other ear. Rewatch this whole clip. Everything sink in. Like, I'm gonna rewatch this while I'm editing it to let it sink in, because that was powerful. And so you said about approaching mentors, going for that value for value situation. And for me, a big thing in my life is intention. Intention and being genuine. That's the biggest gift I could have offered myself, and I believe the people around me. So a lot of people approach building a relationship in that way with mentorship and with other people in business from a place of selfishness and of greediness. I've seen that happen multiple times. So how would you say is important, like your intention when you're going to approach a mentor, that your intentions are truly pure, that you really want to help them? A lot of people, they will help, but they're expecting to receive so much more right away. And I believe that shows, because I'm sure you've received messages for mentorship, like people contact me and think, "Will you mentor me?" And I was blessed when I received my first one. I was like, "Oh my God, this is cool." But at the same time, I was like, my schedule is really busy, and all the person was doing is asking and wanting to take 20 hours away from my week. And I was like, I would love to help you, but there's no, again, my brain was looking for that value for value. And the intention was not genuine. So just to come back to that.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting you say that, because I think it all comes back to being your authentic self. And it's something that I wasn't even conscious of that I had a problem with, because I grew up in an industry where, you see a lot of people with suit and ties, and you see a lot of people with nice watches and nice shoes, and it's like a glamorous thing to be on stage and talk in front of a lot of people. And I thought that was what it was all about, and how can I buy Louis Vuitton shoes? And when I bought them and I looked at my feet, I'm like, oh, this is not me, right? I'm a guy that I'll buy a pair of jeans and I'll have it for 8 years, and I won't buy another one in those 8 years, right? I'll buy this shirt, from Express, and I'll wear it for a few years. And so when I bought all that stuff and I looked at myself and I saw how I was showing up, I noticed it wasn't me. And that was probably the start of this whole self-love journey, to finding my oasis. Is if you show up as your authentic self, and I love my videos, I talk about taking the mask off, and everyone says, what is the mask? And the mask is trying to be like someone on TV, or trying to be like someone that, right, isn't you. No matter who it is, at the end of the day, it's evident to a lot of people. And not only that, it probably hurts more to yourself when right, you're trying to do something for someone else, or for all these people, versus just being yourself. And there's that story of the guy who he goes outside his home to find love and to find materialistic things, and he sells his home because he couldn't afford his home. And when he sold it, and the guy who bought it found diamonds right in the backyard, right? The moral of the story is he was never home to see the diamonds in his backyard. Yeah. And so I always say, come back home, right? Because there's a lot in ourselves and our life that is so beautiful. And going back to what you said, Luckie, when you're showing up in front of a mentor, intention is so key. Purpose is so key, right? You have to know, what is the end goal, right? I know a lot of people that go to a mentor, who are 18, 20, 25, even 45, and say, is there anything I can do for you? Maybe internship, maybe, to make your life easier, maybe run your social media, whatever it is, to become part of that person's inner circle and become friends with that person. And obviously you're giving, right? But what's part of the process is when that person goes to an event, you're at the event and you're meeting all these people. So, just like we talked earlier before we started recording again, showing up. As long as you show up and you get outside your house and you're in front of people, mentorship will naturally come your way. You're going to meet someone who may say, hey, I work for Sony, and you're a musician. I was never good at music, right? But you'll meet someone who can take you to the next level. But it won't happen if you always expect things to be done for you or expect someone to knock on your door and change your life, because it just doesn't work like that. You have to position yourself. Look at you. You're in Vancouver. I met you in Los Angeles at 2 different events.
Yeah.
That's called positioning. And look at the people that you've met from taking that flight, going to 2 events. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's funny. We actually, with Kyle, we talked a bit about that last week, about attracting your tribe, how we talk about positioning and going to that mentor and being like, what can I do for you? And we talked a bit about upfronting that if you want. So doing something and not asking them. So for example, they made a video or something and you can better the editing and then just show that you just send it to them like, hey, I did this for you. If you like it, it's there. I give it to you. So I guess, the French wants to come out. Prévoir. So,
I speak Farsi. That happens sometimes.
Yeah, so basically it's just doing the work up front before asking them what they need. You could just trying to see what they need and go for it at first. So reading their mind a bit in a way.
Yeah, I always grew up, and I used to make fun of my mom because she had that old school calendar on the wall, and every day was filled from the 1st to the 30th or the 31st. And I was like, Mom, there's a thing called an iPhone now, and you can just put the calendar on the iPhone and it makes your life easier. But one day I was smart enough to walk up and look at that same calendar that I've looked at my whole life, and it hit me that she never misses someone's important date in their life. So whether it's a birthday, anniversary, something special that to a lot of people may be little, but she's always there. She's always showing up on someone's special occasion. And I just saw the respect that she has from hundreds, if not thousands of people in her life, because she's always there doing the little things on those special moments. So going back to what you said, I think it's amazing. I don't know if you said it was Kyle or whoever did that.
Yeah.
When you do little things, with good intention and a good heart, it goes a long way because people don't forget those things, right? I've had gifts be sent to me. I've had nice watches or materialistic gifts in my life, Christmas, holidays, birthdays. But it's the people that sent me a postcard. I'll never forget a girl when I lived in Malibu for 2 years. Her name was Carly. Carly, if you're watching this, thank you. I'll never forget it. She wrote a letter to me in the mail, and she said, thank you for your time, for meeting me, and guiding me to finding my purpose and passion in life. Now I'm living with full fulfillment.
That's powerful.
And I'm like, no one's ever sent me something in the mail because, we didn't grow up in a generation of snail mail.
Yeah.
But little things can go such a long way. And I love, that story that you told, because if you go the extra mile, maybe someone will take you under their wings at first for free, right? Maybe they'll bring you in as an intern. Maybe, they'll just give you value or position you with their tribe that can start putting your life on the right path. So
definitely. I can say to everything you said, I can relate 100% because I would not be here in the position that I am at, starting my business and everything with YouTube, without showing up and having those people come in. Like, just being me by myself, I would not be here. It's because of everybody that's around me that was like, thank you, and I decided to show up. And I'm truly great every single morning. I have my grateful exercise, and I thank all those people because without having those people in my life, none of this would be here. So definitely, like, showing up and doing the little things have a huge impact. So yeah, Armon, you've been in network marketing for a long time, actually. And there's a question I want to ask you about that, because network marketing is about building relationship with people. That's the biggest thing I've seen when I was with my company. So if you were able to go back to your beginning days of network marketing, again, I'll use number 3. What are the 3 things you would do and that you've learned that were really important for you to build that relationship with people?
Yeah, it's a good question. And it's such a beautiful industry, but I think sometimes it lacks the proper leadership, proper training, because people buy you. Yeah. They don't buy the product, right? There's so many great products in the industry, but at the end of the day, the ones that do very well, for the most part, they influence, and the people are joining them for who they are as a person. So I think what's so important, if I had to go back to my 12-year-old self, because I failed for about 7 years from 12 to 19, was I was worried about the wrong thing. I was worried about, talking about a compensation plan. I was worried about just vomiting over people on the product that I had, whether it was the greatest, and latest berry juice, whether it was the greatest skincare. There's a cliche saying in the industry, that people don't care what you know until they know that you care.
Yeah.
And when they know that you care about them and their state of happiness and their state of livelihood and their success, ultimately they're going to want to be a part of your life. And, I'd say number 2, everyone looks for friendship. They look for lifestyle. The average person spends 8 hours a day on Facebook. So if you think about how many people are at home, looking for a way out.
Yeah.
They're looking for a way to travel. They're looking for a way to be at home with their kids and see their kids grow up and not sit in traffic for 2 hours a day. But if someone approached me and just sold me their opportunity, I'd probably run away, right? Because when I was 20, a good friend of mine named Garrett McGraw, he said, people don't like to be sold to, but people don't like to be left behind. So if Luckie's creating a movement, and the movement is based around hope, right? And I always create an acronym, helping other people evolve, right? The acronym for hope. People are going to want to look into what you're doing. What is that movement? And the movement could be you're truly helping other people evolve financially, right? And their peace of mind, having great friends around them, traveling the world with their friends that they want to be around, right? The beautiful part about network marketing, you can choose who you spend your time with, unlike corporate America, where you're kind of forced to go into an environment that maybe you're just doing it to make money, means to an end. Yeah. But if you truly understand the concept of people don't like to be sold to, but people don't like to be left behind, everyone who's watching this, I'd encourage you to start a movement, whatever the movement is based around, because if you don't create a movement that's bigger than this life, then people are going to buy into other people's movements or visions in our world. And so when I was 20, I created the Young Hope movement. It was to create a movement of hope for young people that maybe they didn't have to do what their parents did or their grandparents did, and they could create time freedom in their 20s and live a life of bliss and do exactly what they want in their life every single day, which to a lot of people sounds far-fetched. But I'm firsthand telling you this. I failed for 7 years in network marketing, but as I learned and as I learned, how to become an influencer and how to create a movement where people were proud to represent, now I live a life by design. I create my life every single day, and some days it looks different than others, but I'm able to create it. And if you're in network marketing, I want to encourage you to stick with it. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not get rich quick, right? It could be get rich quicker than anything else you do if you stay consistent. But I promise you, it's a mix of personal development, leadership, growth. The one thing that I'll take from network marketing in my whole career is, you have the ability to learn from, the likes of Anthony Robbins, Richard Branson. They're speaking on behalf of our industry in December at Network Marketing Pro in Las Vegas. Eric Worre always hosts the most amazing events.
Yeah.
And life is growth. So start a movement, use social media to your advantage, always post where you're going, where you are, or where you're leaving from, because people always want to be a part of somebody's life that looks like, right, they're creating something great, positive in the world for other people. So hopefully if you're in the industry and, you want some valuable nuggets, that helps you a little bit.
Exactly. And that's powerful, man, because I really like network marketing in the way that it relates a lot to life. And again, everything that applies in there applies into building relationships. So I think a lot of people have to learn about network marketing, even though they have a hard time with it at first.
Yeah, I did a video on for Network Marketing Pro. It's on YouTube if you just type in my name. And the basis of that video that went out on Network Marketing Pro was, if you put people first and money second, you'll actually make more money. And a lot of people in the industry, they do the reverse. They put money here and people here, and these people run away from them, and they just chase these people, the same people, by the way.
Yeah.
And they just wonder why these people are running away. Oftentimes their family, oftentimes their friends. And you'll start calling them and they won't answer. It happened to me. And in our industry, when that happens, they call it the NFL. But it's not the National Football League. It's called No Friends Left. And that's what happened. And so if you want to avoid being part of the NFL and having no friends left, I recommend putting people first and thinking about the money second, because the more people that you help in this industry, it's going to help you by default. Yeah. So just see what you can do for others and ultimately see what happens in return.
Yeah. And that applies to, again, for us doing coaching, it applies to the same thing, right? You have the interest of your clients at heart, and you don't have to worry about the rest.
Oh, not at all.
Right? It's just
not at all.
The beautiful part. You just get to do what you love, and you don't have to stress about the rest. That's awesome, brother. I want to say I'm going to conclude the interview here, because we're at 40 minutes, and I know the attention span, even for myself, is short. So awesome, brother. I want to say thank you for coming on the show, and I appreciate the work you're doing. Thank you so much for taking the time in your busy schedule. I know you're creating your life, so thank you for creating that time. And also, where can people find you on social media and every platform?
Yeah, so all social media is Armon Anderson, ARMON ANDERSON, Armon Anderson, and website selflove2oasis.com. And lastly, again, I want to thank you. When people watch this and people listen to you and see everything you're doing, I want you to know, so you keep going with fire every single day and you wake up with bigger fire than you ever have in your life, that you're making a global difference, and it's bigger than you probably even know right now. I support you. I encourage you. I will share the message of Coffee with Luckie, the brand of Luckie lifestyle, every single day. I'm proud to be your friend, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much, and I look forward to, whether it's Vancouver or Los Angeles, grabbing a cup of coffee together.
Yes, thank you so much, brother. And also, everybody, all his links for social media will be in the bio. I'll just put all the websites there so it's easier to click. You don't have to spell the whole thing. But thank you again for joining. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Don't forget to click that like button, and comment if you have any questions for Armon, for myself, or maybe next Coffee with Luckie. And subscribe because more awesome videos are coming. And I'll see you on Monday. Peace.